Hey there, welcome to the 23rd session. In the last couple of sessions, we have set up our project for the entity framework core and the GraphQL. In this session, we are going to create the types that will be used by the schema. For this, let's switch to Visual Studio. In the MVC or the Web API, we usually create the two kind of models. Same concept will also apply to the GraphQL API. One is for the DB schema. In our case, we have already created it and it store inside the entities folder. And now we need to create a classes for the GraphQL, which is known as a type. Let's create a new folder with the name types, create a new class with the name pizza details type. Each type must be inherited from the any kind of GraphQL type. Here this class represents the object type, so we need to inherit from the object graph type. It's a generic type, so pass the original class on which you want to generate this model. Here we need to write the pizza details as we are creating the type for this. Create a constructor. In the name property, we can specify the name for this type. I prefer to use the same name as the class name of the type, but you can also use the different name too. This object graph type is derived from the complex graph type. It provides the Fluent API for adding the field for the both normal as well as the async operation. Use the field method and pass the expression for the ID. In a similar way, create it for the name, order details ID, price. For those for field, the same name will be used as per the our class and the value of the mention field will be set. But we can also change this. For toppings, we have the enum, but we need to convert it back to the string so it can be useful for our client. Use the field method. It will going to return the string graph type. Name for this field will be toppings. In the resolve parameter, we need to specify the resolving function. We will get the context. Source property contain the pizza details object. So we can access its value while performing the conversion. Convert the topping into string. Create a new class for order details type. Again, it will be inherited from the object graph type. This time it will be a type of the order details. Create a constructor. Set the name for this type. Use the field method for returning the value of ID. Address line 1, address line 2, mobile number, amount, and date. For our order status, we want to provide the more details. So instead of using the string graph type, we are going to use the order status enum type. Name will be order status. And in the result, just pass the order status. Create a new folder for a enum, a new file. Inherit this class from the enumeration graph type. Create a constructor for this. Set a name for this type. For adding value for each enum value, we need to use the add value method. It takes the three parameter. The first will be the text. I'm going to use the same text as the original enum. And second parameter will be the description. And third parameter will be its value. It must be same as the enum. I have already created it, so pasting it here. Open the order details type. and import the matching namespace. Here we have added the enum values as with the custom value as well as the description. But it is also possible to obtain it directly from the enum itself. Create a new class for a topping enum type. Inherit it from the enumeration graph type. But here we will pass the enum type in a generic parameter. Within a constructor, set the name for this type. Our GraphQL types were created. Now we need to add the dependency for this. Within the configure services sections and create a new method. Public static add custom GraphQL type and will be extension method for the iService collection. We can add all those type as a singleton. Order details type, visa details type, order status enum type, topping enum type, and call this method from the startup. Rebuild this project. Build succeed. Let's see what we have learned in this session. We have created a various GraphQL type. To create the type, we need to inherit it from the object graph type. In a generic type parameter, specify the class for which we are going to create the type. Using the field method, we can add the field type. We can pass the expression as well as the use the different name and the value. Here we are passing the string GraphQL type instead of the enum value. Here is another type that we have created, in which we are passing the custom enum type for our order status. To create a enum type, we need to inherit it from enumeration graph type. Using the add value method, we can add the value for each enum value. We need to provide a name, description, and a value. Even you can also create a type having the same enumeration values. It will be useful if you don't want to provide any description value. For this, we just need to specify the enum in the generic type parameter of the enumeration graph type. After creating those type, we need to add the dependency for this. Here I have added all type as a singleton. Stay tuned for the next session.